love and understanding between 3 different communities that all existed along this creek. So we want to bring down that energy today. We want to really serve those ancestors today, because it's probably been maybe 100 years since they received some of the things that they're going to get today. Because we're taught not to honor our ancestors, but yet we're living in the city, or we're in the city, named for someone's ancestors. Pull out your money. We got a picture of someone's ancestors there. So we're asking you to participate in this today, so we can call those energies of those ancestors back up. And we can find ways to live with each other again, in peace and harmony again, trusting each other again. So we're going to pour libations for them. This one is the most universal of all. It's water. Water. 70% of your body is water. 70% of your body is water. 70% of this planet is water. We all swam in 9 months of water in our mother's amniotic fluids. So when we were born, we passed through water to get here. It's that important. So we're pouring water today to our ancestors first. We offer this to the ancestors. We're at Duval now. Wait, where is she?
Yes.
Yeah, we're at Duval now. We want to pour this libation for the community of Duval. Everyone, can you say Ashe?
Ashe.
We're asking you to say Ashe. That word means may it happen. May it happen, or will it happen? Make this thing go through. Make it for sure. Happen. Make it happen. So it's saying Ashe. And it also is the life force, the energy that permeates everything. So we're also saying, yeah, we're affirming this. So, Omi Tutu.
Ashe.
Ona Tutu.
Ashe.
Ile Tutu.
Ashe.
We offer you this water, ancestors. We offer you this water. We offer you this water on this day, and we ask you for your divine blessings. Help us to find the understanding that water brings. Help us to understand. Help us to understand each other again. Help us to receive the love that each other has for each other. Help us to see the God in each other. Help us to value. Help us to value one another. We're asking you for your blessings on this day, ancestors. Also pour this libation for the Creator. We're asking on this day that friction be eased between us. Friction be eased between us. We're offering palm oil. This comes from Africa. It comes from the palm tree, the palm nut of the palm tree. It's boiled, and the oil rises to the top, and it's skimmed off and bottled in this way. Our ancestors looked upon this as being a remedy. We say palm oil is the remedy, no matter the problem. Palm oil is the remedy, because palm oil relieves friction. No matter what the problem is, if we can relieve the friction in it, everything will get better. So palm oil is a universal offering in that sense. So we say, Epo Malero, Epo Malero, Epo Malero, ay 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 Epo Malero, ay 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 Epo Malero, ay 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 Epo Malero, Ashe, 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 Ashe. Palm oil is pure. Palm oil is pure. No matter what the problem, palm oil is pure. We offer palm oil. We offer palm oil. We offer palm oil. We know that these communities work together. They're just not disparate communities. These 3 communities along the Shoal Creek work together. Every time we look at the history of Black people, if we see cooperation, if we see unity, if we see them working together, there's always a chart of success that follows. Have to taste on it. You don't offer anything without tasting a little bit, right? Make sure it's all right for them, right? We already are indulging in a custom that's been kept alive in America, because you've seen this before, even in the movie Cooley High. The brothers pulled out a little bit, the brother's not here. You know this already, so you're just seeing different things being used in the libation, but it's very much alive. So we're going to go ahead with this one. We know that it takes, and if you don't know, let me let you know, it takes a visit of a million visits to flowers to get the pollen that's needed to produce 1 pound of honey. Did you know the bee works that hard? African, Black people in this country are always accused of being lazy. We're not lazy. We're not a lazy people. You don't go all the way across the sea and kidnap people and bring them over to America to work if they're known to be a lazy people. That doesn't even make sense. All right? So we're talking about our industriousness right now. The fact that people along this creek took a part of the city that nobody else wanted and carved a community into it. We were used to the floods of the Nile. That wasn't anything to us when it started flood, overflow. It was in our DNA to deal with it. We learned how to deal with it. So we're asking our ancestors today to give us sweetness in our life. Let everything be sweet like honey. Let our hard work end in sweetness like that of the honeybee. We're asking you for your blessings on this day. Everything wants to be sweet like honey, but only honey is sweet like honey. May our hard work end in sweetness and not bitterness. Ashe.
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 We've learned to not be in comfort with one another, not even being comfortable around each other. Distrusting people who look like us just because they look like us. And that's a problem. So, gin or tea brings comfort. We relax a little bit more. You know?
All right.
We relax a little bit more. You might not think of gin as being African.
My favorite part.
Who's heard of palm wine? Palm wine? Raise your hand, palm wine. When you distill palm wine a little bit further, you wind up with a drink called gogoro, which has every bit of the percentage of alcohol that gin does. All right? So with that, we're using gin today because I couldn't get my hands on any gogoro, okay? So that's what I have today, and we're going to offer gin. We give you gin. Make our world not only comfortable, but satisfying. Not only comfortable, but satisfying. Make our world not only comfortable, but what?
Satisfying.
Make our world what?
Satisfying.
Make our world comfortable.
Satisfying.
Make our world satisfying and
Comfortable.
You got the idea. Because when we're in comfort, it's easier for us to be satisfied. It's easier. You eat more when you're driving than you would if you're sitting at a table. You know what I'm talking about.
Oh, yeah.
If you're trying to eat while you're driving, you don't even notice you're eating. You don't even realize, it doesn't register. So that's what it is. When you're comfortable, it registers better. So that's what we need. We need these experiences to register more often with us. Now, each station we go to, we're not necessarily going to take as long as we're taking here at this one. Because this is Duval. This is the headwaters, if I'm right. This is the headwaters. This is where all the rest of the community started from this one. They grew out of this one. So we have to acknowledge that headwater. We have to acknowledge how important this is. We have to acknowledge the fact that these ancestors made sacrifices. Sacrifices to establish these towns. They took dump sites. A dump site was it? Took a dump site, turned that into a town. They created other towns off this one and kept moving. When this one started flooding, they went over on, what is it, Robinson's Hill? Robinson Hill? Robinson Hill? Yeah, they moved to a higher height. So that's what we're doing right now. We're acknowledging where it started. That's why we're taking a little bit of time today. Here, because this is where it started. I want you to just stop for a minute and take a deep breath, please. Feel those ancestors in the earth under your feet. These are the people who made the sacrifices for you to be here today. These are the people who would not and could not be denied. Their DNA is still in you.
Yes.
You have the DNA of runaway Africans in you. You have the DNA of people who established towns in Africa, came to America, and as soon as they got out of being kidnapped and captured, they started establishing towns again. They worked with each other. They had a circle of interdependence upon one another. They could not remain disparate communities and remained independent. There were people who would not trade or do business with us because of what we look like. So there had to be trading going along here. There was fishing here before they built the dam. And I know that was part of the industry. If it didn't just feed the people, it may have formed a source of commerce. And we have to think about all of those things to realize that this was a community that participated in the larger communities around it, but depended on one another. And that's the same thing we have to follow as a model. Getting back our strength to trust one another again, to love one another again, to understand one another again, to be comfortable with one another again, to be satisfied with one another again. We are enough. We are enough. We are enough. Say it. We are enough.
We are enough.
We are enough.
We are enough.
We are enough. We are enough. We are enough. We are enough. We are enough. Our ancestors bought the ticket. Our ancestors bought the ticket.
Our ancestors bought the ticket.
We're taking the ride.
We're taking the ride.
We are enough.
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 Ashe.
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 Ashe.